Hello friends, a great welcome to my channel. I hope all of you are doing fine and preparing well for the upcoming 2023 CUET PG MA English Entrance exam. With the help of this video, we will cover some important questions that have been there from the year 2015 to 2022. इस वीडियो में दिए गए हर क्वेश्चन को थोड़ा सा केयरफुली देखिए, नोट करिए. ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन is going to be very useful for your 2023 examination. Before moving further, please do not forget to share and subscribe the channel, and please provide me your valuable feedback in comments. Along with each question, I'll keep telling you which kind of preparation should be there. The first question: who among the following is not a later generation romantic poet? इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर है जेन ऑस्टन. जेन ऑस्टन वॉज नॉट अ रोमांटिक पोएट, शी वॉज ए नॉवेलिस्ट. एंड रोमांटिक पोएट्स की अगर बात करें तो फर्स्ट जनरेशन के पोएट्स में आते हैं विलियम ब्लेक, विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ एंड एस.टी. कॉलरिज. एंड सेकेंड जनरेशन इज ऑफ लॉर्ड बायरन, पी.बी. शेले एंड जॉन कीट्स. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन, ऐसे क्वेश्चन हमें ये बताते हैं कि हमें कुछ ग्रुप्स पर जरूर कॉन्सेंट्रेट करना है. किस तरीके के पोएटिक ग्रुप्स हुआ करते थे, स्पेसिफिकली मेटाफिजिकल पोएट्स कौन थे, रोमांटिक पोएट्स कौन से थे, और मॉडर्निस्ट पोएट्स कौन से थे. इस तरीके के कुछ ग्रुप्स, ब्लूम्सबरी ग्रुप एंड सो मेनी अदर पोएटिक ग्रुप्स आर देयर व्हिच यू आर सपोज्ड टू लर्न एंड रिमेंबर ऑलवेज. Next question, question number 2. Sigmund Freud is associated with what? The correct answer here is psychoanalysis. Sigmund Freud was the founding father of psychoanalysis, a method for treating mental illness. And what this question tells us? This question tells us that we need to focus on non-fictional concepts as well, not only the novels and the novelist or the play or playwright or the poet or the poetry, but non-fiction is also very essential. Next question, which of the following are books by Khalid Hosseini? And this question tells us that we need to concentrate on world literature as well. Other than British literature, other than Indian literature, many other countries are important whenever we are appearing for any competitive examination. Khalid Hosseini was born in Kabul, Afghanistan and moved to US in 1980, and he is the author of the New York Times bestsellers The Kite Runner, A Thousand Splendid Suns and The Mountains Echoed. And Hosseini is also a US Goodwill Envoy to UN Refugee Agency and the founder of the Khalid Hosseini Foundation. So A and C here is the right answer. Option number C here, A and C. And The Mountains Echoed and A Thousand Splendid Suns, and the very famous one that also you should remember, The Kite Runner. वो नाम भी आप याद रखेंगे तो it will be good for your further examinations. I've picked questions from all the popular categories. This question is from the history of literature. हिस्ट्री के बारे में, सारे एरास के बारे में पता होना आपको बहुत जरूरी है. हमारे इस क्वेश्चन का विक्टोरियन एरा का करेक्ट आंसर है ऑप्शन नंबर डी, 1837 to 1901. Yes, the era after the romantic period and before the modernism. Next question, who are the German scholars well versed in the practice of magic who teach fosters the art of conjuring? The correct answer is option C, Valdez and Cornelius. डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स के बारे में पता करना बहुत जरूरी है. देखिए ये क्वेश्चन कैसा है. द पोएट एलन गिन्सबर्ग एंड द नॉवेलिस्ट जैक कैरेट बिलोंग टू विच ग्रुप? तो ग्रुप्स को कवर करना भी बहुत जरूरी है हमारे लिए. यहाँ पर हमें कैसे ऑप्शंस दिए गए हैं, हार्लेम रेनेसांस, सदर्न एग्रेरियन, द बीट जनरेशन, द लॉस्ट जनरेशन. कौन से, किस टर्म को किसने कॉइन किया था, कौन से ग्रुप से कौन कौन से राइटर्स बिलोंग करते हैं, और प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन पेपर्स को अगर आप लोग कवर करेंगे अच्छे से तो योर प्रिपरेशन विल ऑटोमेटिकली बी गुड. यहाँ पर हमारा करेक्ट आंसर है द बीट जनरेशन. एडविन Allen Ginsberg was an American poet and writer. As a student at Columbia University, he began friendship with few fellow writers, William S. Burroughs and Jack Kerouac, forming the core of the Beat generation. And these two people, Allen Ginsberg and Jack Kerouac, were very much foundational part of this group, the Beat generation. Next question, which two of the following are titles of collections, a poem by Kamala Das? The correct answers are option number A and option number टी। आपको यहाँ पर ऑप्शंस दिए गए होंगे, कुछ ऑप्शंस का कॉम्बिनेशन आपके एग्जामिनेशन में. Here you should know Summer in Calcutta and Old Playhouse and Other Poems. This was written by Kamala Das, the very famous confessional feminist writer of India. रीवर्किंग्स वाले नॉवेल्स करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. बहुत सारे ऐसे नॉवेल्स होते हैं जिन पर रीवर्क करके कोई और नॉवेल या कोई और नॉन फिक्शनल वर्क लिखा जाता है. सो रीवर्किंग वर्क्स आर रियली इंपॉर्टेंट. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग वर्क्स बाय डायरेक्ट वेलकॉट इज अ रीवर्किंग ऑफ द इलियड? द करेक्ट आंसर हियर इज ऑप्शन D. Omeros. Derek Walcott's Omeros should be read within the horizons of traditional epic. Omeros is an epic of Caribbean life in Saint Lucia and retelling of Iliad. Next question, question number 9. Who among the following first put forward the term superdiversity? Superdiversity is a social science term and concept often said to have been coined by sociologist Stephen Werthowik in 2007 article, and it was first used by BBC article as well in 2005. So the correct answer here is option C, Stephen Werthowik. Next question, interesting one. Who is of the view that all texts are translations of translations of translations? The correct answer here is option C, Octavio Paz. Octavio Paz was Mexican poet and diplomat, and he asserts that language is above all. Language सबसे ऊपर होती है और translation or synonym. This is what language is basically. Translations are a literary act that we use in all of our literary knowledge, and he rejects the idea that poetry, which he considers as universal, is untranslatable. Everything can be translated, and translated work even can be translated. This is what he said, and even poetry can be translated. So very fond of translations, Octavio Paz. Next question, question number 11. The Alchemist is a novel by which of the following writer? The correct answer is Paulo Coelho. The Alchemist is a novel by Brazilian writer Paulo Coelho, which was first published in 1988. Years भी आप सबकी याद रखेंगे, that will really be good for you. Originally, it was published in Portuguese and it became a bestseller. Next question teaches us that we need to put some concentration into those novels which are written as the autobiography of the writer. David Copperfield is an autobiographical novel by Charles Dickens. That is the answer here. It was originally published in serial form from 1849, and it is initial of Dickens novels written entirely in first person and converting his autobiographical impulse into a novel, into a fiction. Next question, which of the following involve the dramatic portrayal of personified qualities and values? The correct answer here is morality plays. Morality plays a type of dramatic allegory performed in a theatre in which the protagonist is met by personifications of various moral attributes, vices and virtues both. Next question, question number 14. Expressions like battlesweet for blood and whale road for sea are examples of which literary technique popular in Old English literature. This is not popular these days, not generally used, but it was quite a popular thing in Old English literature. The correct answer is kenning. Kenning is a figure of speech, you can say a compound word that employs figurative language in metaphorical form. For example, we say first lady for the wife of the president, and we say four eyes for someone who wears glasses. So these kind of things which do a metaphorical representation in form of compound words of some concept, that used to be called kenning in Old English literature. So kenning here is the right answer. So the previous question tells us that we need to be a perfectionist in literary devices. Question number 15. Which of the following poems was written by Christopher Marlowe? Let us see one by one. Venus and Edna is written by William Shakespeare, and A Lover's Complaint, again written by Shakespeare, and Shepherd's Calendar, that is written by Edmund Spenser, and Hero and Leander. Hero and Leander is a poem by Christopher Marlowe that retells the Greek myth of Hero and Leander. After Marlowe's untimely death, it was completed by George Chapman. तो ये भी आपको क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है कि किसने इस पोएट्री को कंप्लीट किया था. इट वाज कंप्लीटेड बाय जॉर्ज चैपमैन आफ्टर द अनटाइमली डेथ ऑफ Christopher Marlowe. He died at a very young age of 29. Here comes next question, question number 16. Who was the first English poet to introduce the division of quatrains in a sonnet? In the English or Shakespearean sonnet, instead of the octave and sestet, four divisions are used. Three quatrains with each with a rhyme scheme of its own, usually rhyming alternative lines, and a rhyme concluding couplet. Henry Howard, or Earl of Surrey, we can say, constructs the sonnets in three quatrains and an ending couplet. Option B here is the right answer. Next question, question 17. With which author is the prose style euphuism associated? Correct answer here is John Lyly. Option A. Euphuism is a peculiar mannered style of English prose. It takes its name from a prose romance by John Lyly. Next question, question number 18. As I told you, you need to learn the poetic groups properly. Who among the following is a metaphysical poet? Is it John Dryden, W.H. Auden, Andrew Marvell, or Thomas Gray? The correct answer is Andrew Marvell, who was a contemporary of John Donne, who was another very famous metaphysical poet. Next question, question 19. Which of the following plays doesn't feature the appearance of a ghost? Macbeth, ghosts are there. Hamlet, ghost is there of King Hamlet. Julius Caesar, there is a ghost. Ghost is something which does not appear in King Lear. Ghosts do appear in rest of the three plays except for King Lear. Next question, question number 20. Who among the following is not an Irish writer? The correct answer is Thomas Gray, and this question tells us that we need to understand the nationality of the writers as well. Thomas Gray, very famous English poet of 18th century. And this question tells us that we really need to work on literary theories, criticism, and non-fictional works as well. Who is the author of Orientalism? The correct answer here is Edward Said. Edward Said is the one who gave the concept of Orientalism in his 1978 book of the same name, and this was a post-colonialist concept. As I told you, you need to find out the coinage as well. कौन से words, कौन से terms, कौन से concepts किसने coin किए थे, that you really need to know, and there are so many. The term the comedy of menace is associated with the early plays of which writer here? The correct answer here is Harold Pinter. Comedy of menace is the body of plays written by many writers, specifically Harold Pinter, along with David Campton, Nigel Dennis, and N.F. Simpson. Next question, question number 23. Who wrote 2 years, 8 months, and 28 nights? Salman Rushdie. This is the correct answer. The very famous and controversial writer who has recently been attacked as well. 2 years, 8 months, and 28 nights is a fantasy novel by this writer published in 2015. 2015. Next question is from such a category where your chronological capacity should be very good. Chronological order क्या है, कौन-कौन से novels, कौन-कौन से texts किस year में publish हुए थे, at least the famous ones. This you need to remember. Publication of Virginia Woolf was in 1929. Bloomsbury Group was officially given the name in 1912. Publication of James Stewart's Portrait of the Artist was done in 1916, and the very important 1922 year had the publication of The Waste Land, the very famous poetry written by T.S. Eliot. 25. Which of the following is not an elegy? The correct answer here is option D, Ode to Nightingale. एलिजीज करना भी आपके लिए बहुत जरूरी है, इस तरीके की पोएट्रीज जो किसी फेलो राइटर की डेथ को कमेमोरेट करती हैं. Lycidas is an elegy written by Milton for Edward King. In Memoriam is a poem by British poet Alfred Lord Tennyson, published in 1850, and it is written for his friend Arthur Henry Hallam. And Adonis is an elegy on the death of John Keats, the second generation romantic poet, by the second generation romantic poet P.B. Shelley. Question number 26. Who is the author of Sexual Politics? A, B, C और D. साथ ही साथ आप देखते जाइए कि आपके कितने क्वेश्चन सही हो रहे हैं. वीडियो के एंड में मुझे प्लीज अपना स्कोर जरूर बताइए. Kate Millett is the right answer. Sexual Politics is the debut book by American writer and activist Kate Millett based on her PhD thesis at Columbia University. Next question. Peripeteia. What does it mean? Recognition of error, tragic flaw, reversal of fortune, or purgation of emotions. The correct answer is option C, reversal of fortune. A sudden reversal of fortune or change in any kind of circumstances, especially in reference to fictional narrative. Aristotle says that peripeteia is the most powerful part of the plot in a tragedy, along with discovery, that is anagnorisis. Question number 28. Who defended poetry against Stephen Gusson's The School of Abuse? Was it John Dryden, Alexander Pope, Philip Sidney, or P.B. Shelley? What is your answer? Correct answer is Philip Sidney. An Apology for Poetry, or you can call Defense of Poesy, is a work of literary criticism by Philip Sidney, and it was written approximately in 1580 and most probably published in 1595 after his death. And this was motivated by Stephen Gusson, a former playwright who dedicated his attack on the English stage, The School of Abuse. वो भी आपको याद रखना है, स्टीफन गसॉन ने क्या लिखा था जिसको रिप्लाई किया गया in the form of defense of poesy. The School of Abuse. To Sydney, it was written, School of Abuse was written in 1579. Question number 29. The term metaphysical poets was first used by, the correct answer is Samuel Johnson. The term metaphysical poets was coined by the critic Samuel Johnson to describe a group loosely based upon 17th century English poets whose work was characterized by the use of metaphors, conceit, and emphasis on lyric quality of their verses. Metaphysical poets. Question number 30. What is the name of Belinda's lapdog in Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock? Was it Luck, Muck, Pluck, or Shock? The correct answer option D, Shock. Rape of the Lock बहुत ही humorous indictment है of vanities and idleness of 18th century high society. It is a mock heroic narrative poem written by Alexander Pope, and Belinda's lapdog, the central character, is Belinda, whose lock is taken away, and her dog's name is Shock. Next one, Confessions of an English Opium Eater, is written by William Hazlitt, Coleridge, Thomas De Quincey, or Leigh Hunt. The correct answer is Thomas De Quincey. It is an autobiographical account by this writer about his opium addiction. Next question, question number 32. Coleridge's Biographia Literaria came out in which year? 18 17. Yes, this is the right year. This is a critical autobiography. More, it is about criticism rather than the personal account. Published in two volumes, first in 1817, and its working title was not Biographia Literaria, it was Autobiographia Literaria. ये भी आप याद रखिए, मे बी वर्किंग टाइटल आपको आ जाए एग्जाम में, जस्ट एड ऑटो हियर, Autobiographia Literaria. Next question, in Dryden's essay of dramatic poesy 1668, who opens the discussion on behalf of the ancients? Lucetius, Neander, Eugenius, or Crites? There are four gentlemen, and out of these, at least Neander is representing Dryden himself. ये भी आपको क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. अब अपने क्वेश्चन की तरफ चलते हैं. Eugenius favors moderns and Crites favors the ancients. सो मॉडर्न्स को कौन फेवर करता है, ड्राइडन का खुद का रिप्रेजेंटेशन कौन है, और एंशियंट्स को कौन फेवर करता है? ऑल आंसर्स यू नो अबाउट इट नाउ. हमारे करेंट क्वेश्चन का आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, क्राइट्स. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, टर्निंग इन द वाइडनिंग गाय, द falcon cannot hear the falconer, things fall apart, the center cannot hold, mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. These lines have been taken from which of the following poems? Prayer for My Daughter, Second Coming, Among School Children, or Sailing to Byzantium? The correct answer is option B. Second Coming is a poem that was written by Irish poet W.B. Yeats in 1919, and it is a very popular poetry, and few lines of this, things fall apart. This line is taken as a title of some novel as well. Please do tell me in comments which novel. Let us move to next question. Next question, which of the following is not a partition novel? Thomas, Train to Pakistan, The Shadow Lines, or God of Small Things? Thomas is very clearly a partition novel. ट्रेन टू पाकिस्तान में तो इंसिडेंट ही उस ट्रेन का है जो पाकिस्तान और इंडिया के बीच में आती जाती है, और किस तरीके से उसी वजह से वायलेंस क्रिएट होता है. शेडो लाइंस ऑल्दो नॉट कम्प्लीटली बेस्ड ओनली ऑन पार्टीशन इश्यूज, लेकिन पार्टीशन इश्यूज को रिफ्लेक्ट जरूर करता है. गॉड ऑफ स्मॉल थिंग्स में पार्टीशन रिलेटेड इश्यूज नहीं है. द वेरी पॉपुलर नॉवल बाय अरुंधति रॉय, गॉड ऑफ स्मॉल थिंग्स हियर इज द राइट आंसर. शेडो लाइंस ही मुझे याद आया कि शेडो लाइंस को आप एक मेमोरी नॉवल भी कहते हैं. तो अगर आपको कोई क्वेश्चन आता है विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज अ मेमोरी नॉवल और शेडो लाइंस वहां ऑप्शन है, तो गो फॉर दिस वन. A great good luck to everyone from my side. Please perform the best. जितना अच्छे से अच्छा परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं अपने हिसाब से उतना करिए. क्वेश्चंस को बहुत अच्छे से रीड करिए. दैट इज द टिप दैट आई कैन गिव टू यू. बहुत बार होता है कि हमें आता है आंसर लेकिन क्वेश्चन अच्छे से रीड नहीं किया होता और आंसर गलत हो जाता है. ऐसी सिचुएशन नहीं होनी चाहिए. इफ यू डू नॉट नो, यू डू नॉट नो, बट डू नॉट मेक इट रॉन्ग इवन इफ यू नो इट. Thanks for watching. Best of luck for your exams. Please do not forget to share and subscribe the channel. And after your exams, please tell me in the comments of this video आपका exam कैसा हुआ.